I'm Dr. Ben Newman. I am a coronavirologist, and let's try to answer your questions. Let's see. The next one is from GB. Yeah, all right. Let's see. I have a question that maybe Dr. Ben could answer. We'll see. We will see. I post on some COVID survivor boards. Interesting. Yeah. Huh. Yeah, I mean, of course that must exist. I just hadn't thought of it or heard of it. Recently, people have been talking about going to get a third shot or going to get the vaccine that they didn't get. Like if they got Moderna, they want to go back and get the Pfizer one. Is any of this a good idea? No one seems to have any idea if this is a good idea or a bad one. Maybe Dr. Ben might have some idea. I mean, yeah, this is something that hasn't been directly tested in a clinical trial. So, to some extent, this is more a matter of opinion and which facts we can connect that are outside of the actual question that you want to answer and maybe get close to an answer. um, in general, with all these vaccines, additional doses give higher side effects than the original dose. That's a rough rule of thumb. There are exceptions in older age groups with the Johnson and Johnson vaccine. I believe the second one was particularly mild. Yeah, but it was a smaller number of people, and it could just be that they got lucky with who they happened to pick, and that's fine. Yeah. Um, in terms of what it would actually do, I think you would expect to see some additional side effects. I'm not sure how much additional benefit you would get. So Moderna and Pfizer and AstraZeneca and Johnson and Johnson, and when it's ready, Novavax and GSK, Sanofi. All of those use the exact same version of the spike protein. It's a thing called the HU1 from human number one. Back in, they were infected in 2019. The sequence came out in early January, I think around the 9th of January. And that's when, scientists were first aware of this. And that's when all of the vaccine ideas got started. And so it's taken, better part of a year for the quick vaccines, and for the slow vaccines, it has taken, we're still counting for those. But I think they will eventually come through because they seem to be pretty close. So we know that with each of these vaccines, you get a certain level of antibody and a certain level of T cells after one dose, and then it goes down over time. And then the reason why they give a second dose in most of these is that it bumps you up to a higher level. It's still going to go down at about the same rate, but you're going to have started off higher, and so it's the same reason people go to big sledding hills in sled riding season. You just got farther to go down, so you got a nice long ride. Yeah, that's the idea. So a third dose at some point would take whatever your current level is, and that will depend on a lot of stuff. I mean, age would be one consideration, but individual variability is going to be a much bigger consideration than just age. It's one of those things you can't really predict just by looking at a person or necessarily knowing when they were vaccinated. Too much there's too much variability in an immune response, particularly vaccination. It's just hard to say exactly what kind of antibodies you're going to get, and how your body is going to make defenses. There's going to be a response, but there are a lot of potentially very good solutions to this problem. And depending on your genetics and just random chance, people will make different solutions. And you can get to the same place. You can make different antibodies that knock out the virus than somebody else made, and they can still have the same effect. So that's the idea of a vaccine. You challenge the immune system with this thing, and the immune system responds in whatever is the best way that it's able to respond, and then you get what you get. So in terms of what would that do, I would expect you would boost up the levels again from wherever they happen to be. And so for some people, if they were vaccinated right at the beginning or even in the clinical trial, this might be a good time. Best guess is you would probably need to be vaccinated at least once a year with this thing for it to keep you protected, keep that protection up. I think, though, what I would be waiting for is a variant. So, since the vaccines you'll be getting are immunologically identical to the ones that you got before, getting it via a different, the Pfizer versus the Moderna, there's really no difference there. There's no meaningful difference in how they work or what they're delivering or what response you get. Differences with the others, with the adenovirus inside, I think are going to be really small. There is not enough of a difference that I think it would be a meaningful difference. But each of the companies is working on a variant booster, which would give you extra protection against something like the South Africa variant or the UK plus 484 variant or something like the BV variants or something like just the regular UK variant. And having that would give you something extra. It would give you a higher level, yes, but you'd also have an extra potential ability to knock out some of these new strains that have changed a little bit that you wouldn't necessarily get with a repeat vaccination with the old version of 2019 spike. Because spikes change, times change, people change, and just got to update your vaccines. That's how the vaccine game runs. So, I don't see a big benefit right now. I think, you'd just be under the weather for half a day or a day, something like that. But you could have, incredible levels of antibodies and T cells. I just don't know that that gets you any more effect than you would have right now. So that's the best I can answer it. It's kind of a shrug of the shoulders. Like I don't think it's worth going out and doing at this stage. But when there is a change in the vaccine, then I'll be there. Yeah, and I'll be very happy to get it. So thanks very much. This has been Ask Dr. Ben.